All right, it's 9 minutes before the top of the hour here on Morning Live. Every 32 minutes, someone, somewhere in this beautiful country of ours is being hijacked. In fact, as I speak to you now, someone is being hijacked somewhere. Statistics released by the South African Police Service early this year further state that numbers of this type of crime are on a massive increase. Just last week, musician Vusi Nova became a victim. He was kidnapped, but luckily he escaped unharmed. Actor Dumi Masilela, who passed away recently, wasn't as lucky. Joining me now in studio is a former inmate, Themba Lukhele. He spent time in prison. He was sentenced to 7 years, served 3.5 years before he got parole, and he's out now. And Themba's written a book as well. Themba, it's good to have you in studio. Welcome to Morning Live.
Have a greetings, ma'am. Thank you.
So let's start off firstly. Why were you incarcerated in the first place?
It was because of a domestic matter that was escalated to a criminal matter because of the charges. It was between myself and my wife.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I made some serious irrational decisions. And I burned my fingers, and then that's how I was incarcerated.
How long ago was this?
I was released recently in 2016, on the 17th, on the 19th of December.
Yeah. So
yes.
Parole is over for you, though?
No, it's not over as yet. I'm still serving. I'm still under parole now.
Still under parole?
Yes.
Which prison were you in?
I was incarcerated in the Far Eastern Boksburg prison.
What were conditions like there?
Hey, it's pretty hectic, eh? Yeah, but I changed my jail time into the best time of my life because I was involved in so many rehabilitation, programs. I became a chairperson of the biggest organization, which is called the Making a Difference Generation. People were incarcerated to spend time. So you're seeing people, with their eyes burning with anger. So to be incarcerated is no small feat.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you find yourself in that very end of the system, you have to pay a price of wronging society or community.
Yeah. Let's go back a little bit, because the Themba that I'm sitting in front of now, are you very different to the Themba that went into prison?
It's way different. Yeah, now I'm telling people about Christ. I used to read a lot. Prophetess Jonathan Payam, in her book, she says every pastor, preacher, mentor, and motivator has been given a people. We are responsible to tell our story so that the people may know the power of God.
Yeah. So when I know that we want to give a little bit of advice as well, particularly with hijackings in this country. You yourself, were you involved with hijacking at all?
I used to. Actually, I went knee deep into criminal activities. There's no crime there to Themba, except killing people. I've never killed a person, but in terms of a crime, the media in South Africa has labeled me as a kingpin and a mastermind in serious robberies. I mean, cash in transit heist, your bank robberies. So, I always, when I do motivations and say, for you to be liberated, you need to accept your flaws. Yeah. So I accepted my imperfections in public, and now I'm willing to go out about it and then just make notes about your past and telling people, when you find yourself committing crime, you must be well prepared to serve the time.
What made you turn to crime?
I'll tell you, one of the things was your peer pressure, but I would never put my finger on the why, because I grew up in the dusty street of Eguruleni in Katlehong. So around the times of political upheavals and violence. So I found myself sleeping with many cadres who were relentless in their quest to protect the community. So I used to sleep with more than 28 AK-47 inside the house. So I decided one day to steal one of many guns, and I would tell you, you'll be shocked, because I was only 15 years of age when I was arrested with an AK-47.
Okay, so, it's something you were subjected to in a very long time. There are two things I want to talk about. There's the idea of being hijacked. Now, it's probably one of my greatest fears, one of South Africans' greatest fears, as I mentioned here. Yes. Somebody somewhere right now, and I'm making it to be one person, but there's probably more people that are currently being hijacked. What are you looking for? What do you do when you psych yourself up to go and hijack somebody and potentially ruin their lives?
Hey, when you find yourself with a gun, pointed in your head, actually you see your life flashing before your eyes. But I would say sometimes there's a say that says God always gives us the signs. As human beings, we choose to ignore the signs. So what people they need to be aware of is you can't have a car tailing, or you can't turn more than 3-4 corners with the car following you. You must just know. You must smell that there's something that's just not right. And people need to avoid the outskirts. Let's say you are parked in, nearby field, you are falling into prey because what you're doing, you are exposing yourself. You are an island, actually. So to people who are roaming around and trying to check, you'll be an easy target.
Is it ever random? Because a lot of people want to know that. I mean, do you suddenly see someone and say, okay, they look like we can do it right now? Do you follow people? Do you watch them carefully? Or do you sometimes randomly pick someone and say, right, let's go for them?
It is very random. It is actually spontaneous because what they normally do, what we used to do is, you would, like, let's say for now, we've got recent cars which are Golf 7, which are your Audis. Those are easy targets because Guti, it's a fast check, it's a fast cash. So people who are driving those cars, they are more vulnerable into the hands of the criminals.
Yeah. Now, I mean, we've seen some very high-profile cases of late. We saw Vusi Nova being hijacked and kidnapped recently. We saw Dumi Masilela, unfortunately, dying at the hands of his hijackers. Is your intention? Are you there when you're doing it? Are you 100% there? Do you sort of go into another world? Are you willing to kill to get this vehicle?
I guess there are many ways to go about this because at times it's not the intention of maybe a hijack or a robber to steal a life. But let's say you have your seatbelt fastened and then somebody comes and points you with the gun and then you decide to say, let me unbuckle. And then that particular person on that receiving end, I mean, he's actually scared at the same time. So you are doing this, you just want to do this and go. So at times it's your...
it's your actions is what you're saying. You're the person who you're hijacking,
how you react, yeah.
So your advice to people?
No, when you are pointed with a gun, I am telling you, you will, eventually at the end of the day recover. So rather you just need to let go. Because when somebody points you with a gun, so is actually stealing your powers. So there is no any other way but just to surrender.
Yeah.
That's the only way out.
I suppose there's two crimes that I can talk to you. It's the hijacking, but also we're in Women's Month and you were convicted of obviously it was assault against your wife or girlfriend?
Yes, yes.
It was your wife?
Well, it was my wife at the time.
What leads you to want to hit a woman?
Unfortunately, mine, she became devious on me. I had no reasons. Actually, when I think about the crimes that I committed, they make me leave my head hanging in shame. But I was not even thinking straight at that time. So I don't want to, sound like I'm being defensive or protecting anything. I made some serious irrational decisions, which I had to pay, and I'm still paying even today.
Yeah, yeah. But you feel that you have rehabilitated in your own way. I know you've written your book. Is this available for people to read your story?
This is available in all CNA stores. Yes, I am definitely rehabilitated. As a matter of fact, I got a call from the national office to say, can you represent? So, of course, what they do, they look at you very closely and how you conduct yourself even in front of people. When I just got released, I got a call from the minister's office. They said, no, you need to speak along the minister because they've been seeing and following me very close. So what we are doing now, we are just making sure we are touching life at every point and making sure that we are creating awareness against these social ills and the crime.
All right, we'll leave it there for this morning. Thanks for talking to us. Thanks for being brave, sharing your story. Themba Lukhele is what we like to call a rehabilitated, or he is on the road to rehabilitation. He's written a book. He's been in jail, incarcerated for various crimes. And if you want to read his story, there it is. But more importantly, I think, just take heed of some of the information that was given out here this morning. Themba, thank you very much for being our guest.